name is John Guiney. I'm a Jesuit born in West Limerick. Has spent most of my life working in Eastern Africa, which covers the countries of Tanzania, Uganda, Sudan, Kenya and Ethiopia. I'm now back in Ireland after 25 years, and my present role is Director of the Irish Jesuit Mission Office, which is the outreach and has been the outreach to Irish Jesuit missionaries for almost the past 50 years in Ireland. It is an office at the moment that's in transition because our missionaries, we have 29 missionaries abroad, 15 in Africa, 14 in Asia, and we do not have vocations in Ireland at present, which means we do not send out missionaries abroad on long-term assignments. We do send our men out on short-term assignments, as we have done recently with Jesuit Refugee Service. We have Richard Dwyer in South Sudan working with Jesuit Refugee Service in a post-conflict zone, and we have Jerry Clark working in Rwanda as Country Director of Jesuit Refugee Service amongst the Congolese displaced in that country. Also, what has happened, as you are aware, is that the ecclesial context, the church context in Africa and Asia has changed. It is a church of multitudes in Africa, and vocations are many. We have very few human resources, as it were, in terms of personnel. Africa and Asia have vast resources. So the whole mission and missionary context has changed, whereby the plenitude of personnel is in Africa and Asia, whilst many of the resources, perhaps some of the financial resources, up to recently anyway, up to the crisis, the economic crisis, was in the north or in the west. And the major question for an office like our office in Dublin at the moment, as in other European offices, is how do we define and see our relationship between what I would call the old provinces or the old countries as well, or Europe, with the young provinces, the young nations in Africa and Asia. And that is the major question that we work with at present. How do we define that relationship? And my work in the past 2 years has been to explore that question. And what is emerging from that question is that we need one another as much as we needed one another in the past, but for different reasons and in a different context of relationship. We see our relationship now not in terms of one giving and the other receiving, but in terms of a mutual giving, in terms of a mutual partnership. So partnership would be the defining word probably, or verb. Partnering would be the defining verb of our relationship at present. That we need Africa as much as Africa needs us. We need Africa to open our minds and our spirits to the world, to new realities, to new cultures, to new ways of living, to new ways of being and of behaving, to new ways of living our humanity. Africa also needs us to see how do we live and how do we see life, because we are all people on the same planet, one family in the same planet. And so it's a relationship of reciprocity. It's not one giving and the other receiving, but it's a mutual giving and receiving and sharing. Faith, I guess, is the oil in the engine of our work, and it is what motivates us. I think our vision and mission is very much tied up about making a better world and bringing about change for a better world and for all human beings in the spirit of the gospel and inspired by the gospel. So it's very much the Christian vision of the dignity of each person and of the whole person and all people that continually inspires our work and our being. And also we recognize that the great twin of building faith is doing justice. Love God and love your neighbour is the twin commandment, and so the twin activity always is preaching the faith but promoting justice. One cannot go without the other. On one level, if we just take the faith, we're into a purely spiritual view of the person, which is a partial view of the person. If we only do justice, we only have a purely socio-economic view of the person. But it's both. We have to have both linked in with culture and linked in with dialogue with other religions as well. And so the promotion of faith and the doing of justice are two sides of the one coin. And as we say in Africa, in our schools, we cannot do education without feeding a child. A hungry child can never learn.